Hey. Happy Friday Eve. Good evening. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Assets Over Money Podcast, episode 11. Man, we 11 episodes in.
11 in, bruh.
That's
Keeping it
crazy.
longevity.
That's crazy. 11 of I guess many more to come, man. I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. But
Nah, man. Keep it rolling, bro. Keep it rolling.
yeah, but no, I don't want to take don't want to take too much time chit-chatting in the beginning, man. But I think this is something that's really, really important. So I'm glad that we got to discuss this a little bit previously. But today with the topic, we're going to be talking about the 3 controls that you need to succeed in your life. You know, that is the type of education you have, the type of advisors that you utilize, and then the control that you have, you know, over your time. And we're going to dive into all of that in a little bit. But I just think, and shoot, we think, I know, and I'll let you talk to this too in a second, bro, is that just the state of where we're at now in the world and the country, you have to take control of your own life. You are the captain of your own ship. You know what I mean? So it's really on you. Nobody's coming to save you. So if you want change, you have to be the person to, you know, to make that happen.
Man, yeah, man. I mean, I'm dog, this is it goes with everything that's going on right now, man. Just like you said, so many of us are out here running around and doing things like a ship with no captain. You know what I'm saying? That ship may land anywhere. So it's like, you know what I mean? You have to be able to put some controls in place to be able to get to your destination. And so we're all, so many of us out here riding on autopilot, man, and not at the wheel. And we're just doing everything that we think we're supposed to do and, following everyone else. And it's like, it's just crazy, man, because we don't think hard. We work hard, but we don't think hard. So it's like, you got to have these controls in place, not just to be successful or be wealthy, but just to have a good life, man, because where things are right now in this world, man, the middle class is being wiped away. Let's be honest and clear about that. And it's going to be the have-nots and the haves. Either you're going to have money or you don't. And so these controls in place to make sure that, you can live the way you want to live and not have to worry about government making rules for you.
Yeah. And even with that, man, just because of, the job, the status, everything can change in an instant. Stuff can get real, really, really quick. You can have a job today and then tomorrow you're out on the street. You know what I mean? Tomorrow the economy could crash and you go into a recession. Then what? It is so much better to have some type of, I guess, knowledge or some type of idea to what you want to do. And that's not to say, right, with that, like, is like at the end of the day, the country, we have one of the strongest economies in the world, right? We need, and that is based on the employees that we have and the people that we have in jobs. And we need people to go in and work jobs and do really, really well. On the flip side, with that, this is more so for those folks, man, who are working these jobs, working these 9-to-5s that are grinding, and have that feeling in their stomach, have that feeling in their brain is like, man, my life, I should be doing so much more than what I'm doing right now. Where I'm at right now is just not enough. And you have that feeling in the back of your head that is just telling you that you should be somewhere else. That's not a feeling that you don't have for, you don't have that feeling for no reason. You have it for a reason. You know what I mean? You need to, I guess, act on it. And so I guess really this podcast is to help those folks who have that voice speaking to them saying, hey, I want to do more. I know I'm destined for more, and how to change that mindset and kind of set that foundation for yourself. So really, yeah, jumping into that, the first one we have right here is education. Number one is education. And that's not just, school, right? The education that you have is pretty, pretty important because you have 2 different types of education systems, I'd say. You have, the traditional education system, which is more so, what our country is founded on. Everybody says, if I were to say, go to school, everybody would say, get a good job, right? That is the whole purpose of life, or so to speak, or what we think, right? So you go to school from the ages of 5, 6, they put you into kindergarten and you don't graduate until you're right around 18, turn around, go to college, then you're 22. And then from there, you get a master's for another 2 years, you're 24, spit you out, and you go right into the system working for a company, busting your butt for somebody else to make somebody else a check. And the way it works is the person at the bottom is always working the hardest. And as you go higher up, you know what I mean? You're not necessarily getting compensated appropriately for the things that you're doing. That's not always the case, but that is, I would say that's some of the case, right?
Yeah, man. We're taught, it's almost like the Matrix, right? Like,
yeah,
we're schooled to be batteries to fund the U.S., right? Because the workers, the ones that are getting the paychecks, are paying the most in taxes, right? So you have to understand, like, at the end of the day, it, you this is all a system. It's all a system. And so if you're not educating yourself, because people think, hey, I can go to school, get good grades, and get me a good job, and what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you know, I'm a big advocate of education, right? But now looking back on it, it's like we learned everything but what money, about money, and how to use money. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
see, is a subject just like science and math is, right? So like at the end of the day, we, especially as Black and brown people, we didn't even learn about money. We
Yeah.
didn't learn wealth. We never learned about, cash flow and leverage. You know what I mean? So like education is good, but here's my thing. Like, I'm not gonna go pay 150,000 to go to college when I can teach myself on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All college is basically you're hiring a professor to teach you out of a book that you can read. At the end of the day, if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, a dentist, or something like that, where you have to be in school and you have to do things, I don't think college is even worth it, right? Because I'm thinking, hey, I could be 18 years old, graduated from high school, and go exactly and start learning about money through YouTube. I want to learn about money and how money works, because the thing about it is we're going to get these jobs, and we're going to going to school and paying this money to have these loans, to have this these student loans follow us the rest of our lives, and we're only making $120,000. You know what I'm saying? When a carton of milk might be $6, gallon of gas might be $4.
The eggs going up.
Yeah, and it's going up, right? So like you have to educate yourself, to make sure you make a living and you can take care of your responsibilities. But at the end of the day, you want to educate yourself on money and how money works, wealth, and how others have become wealthy. That's what a lot of us don't do. We think, we go to work and we work hard, but we don't think hard, right? So it's, I'm a big advocate of education, but now knowing what I know, I probably have a PhD in finance and don't even know it, because I've read so many books. When I was in corporate America, I mean, all I did was listen to books every day. And so most of them were financial books, and, real estate books, and how to increase your net worth, and how to increase yourself. Right. And so I learned so much about money that way. It kind of trumps my college experience, because I played ball in college, and like I majored in art history.
You're an artist.
I was, right. But then when I got out of school, I realized that artists don't make money until they die. You know what I'm saying? And so like at the end of the day, I needed to make money while I was living.
Yeah.
And so looking back at it now, if I could have learned about cash flow and leverage, way sooner, I would be way wealthier than what I am right now.
Yeah.
The earlier you can, the earlier you're going to be financially wealthy and free from, the everyday rat race.
Yeah. And shoot, and on that note of rat race, right? I think baseline book everybody talks about, you know what I mean? First book a lot of folks read when they get into that space of, I guess, free thinking and, financial independence and finding that route is Rich Dad Poor Dad. One of the things the book talks about is, difference between the formal education and the self-education side, right? So synopsis of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, he had his rich dad, who did more so the self-education side, where he studied, learn how money works, learning how to build assets, making money work for you. Didn't necessarily go to college, or, didn't go to college at all, just focused on that aspect, right? Blue collar, worked his butt off, understood how money worked and how to make his money work. And then on the flip side, you had other folks going into the more so the formal education side, is his poor dad, went to school, got a good job, got all these different degrees. And then after he graduated with all these different degrees, he had nothing but, debt and then a handout trying to find another job. Right. And he lived a good life. You know what I mean? Not to say he didn't live a bad life, but it wasn't what, he thought he was destined for. Right. And the book just kind of dives into those different principles, because it is very important. Because I think that I really want to know here, because a lot of folks want to go to school, want to go to college. And that's not to say college isn't a bad thing. I think college is a great thing. But the thing is, you need to have some sort of plan on what you want to do, with your life. And I think that it is a tall ask to ask somebody who is 18 years old, just got out of high school, to be like, all right, you got 4 years to decide what you want the path for your life to be. And majority of the folks who go to college and start with these majors, you know what I mean, or go focus on these majors, they graduate and then end up working somewhere in a completely different field because their major wasn't applicable. So you wasted in my opinion, 4 years of life, and pretty much wasted hundreds of $1,000s worth of money, depending on, what school you went to and what you did in school. And I know I could go down a whole, rabbit hole for that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess what I'm really trying to say is the folks who are truly, truly wealthy, yes, some of them did go to, school, go get their masters, MBAs and things of that nature. See, that's more specific. They had a goal, they had a plan, and they kind of, acted it. But a lot of, and I would say even majority of the folks who are extremely wealthy, those folks, went to the school of hard knocks, man. They studied, learned on their own. A lot of times went through some type of big, trial, some type of tribulations, had, roadblocks in their life, and responded well and did what worked and did really, really well. And it's no coincidence, man. I know you've probably heard of it too, Kev. I'm gonna pass it to you on this too. Like, you've heard of the what I'm saying here. Well, folks, this is people who are essentially like immigrants or first or second generation, whatever country they're from, come here and become highly successful. It's because they truly understand what that dream of being, an American is, and they embody. And a lot of times, some of those folks, man, they don't come from nothing. I know folks. One person I listen to a lot. Have you heard of Bedros Keuilian?
No.
He has a really cool podcast. Dude is from, I forgot where. I want to say Eastern Europe. Was a part of, I want to say, like communist Russia, one of the countries that was a part of communist Russia. Crazy upbringing. Moved to America when he was like three or four. His parents were extremely poor. He used to get bullied, got beat up. Majority of his life was sexually assaulted as a kid. In the other country before he moved to America. Dude now is a serial millionaire. I don't know if you ever heard of Fit Body Boot Camp, maybe. No. He's the guy who started that. He owns a couple different companies, a serial millionaire, and he's a perfect example. I know somebody else, dude straight from one of the civil war torn countries in Africa. I want to say it was Liberia. Moved here as a teenager, working his butt off, and now is on the own path to being financially free, because a lot of these folks, they don't take it for granted, man. They understand the opportunities that they have in America. And if immigrants can get it, how come we ain't getting it? And the reason is, I think a lot of it come down to we being entitled, if we being real. You know what I mean?
Entitled, yo. Oh, yeah. And we supposed to get everything quick. Microwave society, you know what I'm saying? And we're brainwashed from birth. Hey, you got to go to college. You got to go get good grades. You got to, you know what I'm saying, get a job where you can work for someone for 40 years and retire with benefits, yo. But see, the ones who were saying that they were getting a pension and a job for life, you know what I'm saying? But then those job for lives turned into 401ks. and now it's based on the stock market and the market and what goes up and down. So that way it's controlled and they don't have to pay you after you retire. All you're getting is a gold watch. And so you can't even give your kid that gold watch. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you feel me? So like, you got to be able to educate yourself enough to the point where you understand money, you understand how money grows, and you understand how cash flow is way better than wages.
Yeah.
So education is a must, man. So, you get your education to, your formal education, but, a formal education, you can make a living. A self-education, you can make a fortune.
Yeah, if you leverage it the correct way, for sure.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yeah. A big deal for us tonight, man, and hitting these controls, man, because this world is going nuts right now, yo. It's just getting turned on its ear right now, yo. And if you ain't listening and you ain't understanding what's going on, man, you rest around and be left out in the cold.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's important for us to be educated, bro. Yeah, it's definitely important, man. And I think with that is like the right education system, and really it comes down to the right education system for you, for you all in the audience, separates people who are going to be successful from those who are going to be stagnant. So I guess the question you really got to ask yourself is, what are you actively learning? What are you passionate about? If you're passionate about certain things, are you actually taking the time to learn about them, or are you just passionate about it? It's just words and there's really no action behind it. But yeah, and I think that's a good segue, man, into number two, man, the advisors utilize. And that's just more so than, on a mentorship side, right? I would say, like, I think about it like three different categories, right? You have your drainers, you have your maintainers, and you have your elevators, right? So I would say your drainers are people, those are the negative people who hold you back. We all got it. Sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, and sometimes just the people at work who are negative, and that energy is popping off on you, right? And man, a little segue real quick, man. One of my pet peeves is I really hate those backhanded compliments. You know what I mean? When you start doing a little something well, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, look at you got the new car. You must thank you the man. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's a compliment, or it's like it's backhanded. You know what I mean? Or it's like, oh, look at you, Mr. Real Estate Investor. Oh wow, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things like, it's like I'm complimenting you, but that kind of thing, right? So that's one of my pet peeves. But the drainers, man, we all know where they are, and you got to learn to block those folks out. At the end of the day, it really does not matter who it is. You know what I mean? It could be one of your closest friends or somebody you think is your closest friend.
It could be in your family.
It could be yeah. A lot of times it is for a lot of people. It's the closest people to you, and we don't even realize it, or we do realize it, and we just kind of allow it because we're like, oh, that's family. You know what I mean? I do not allow. I'm not even joking. You can ask anybody who knows me. I don't allow any negativity in my life, man. I'm extremely positive. People say I'm over positive, but I'd rather be over positive than negative, man, because life is a beautiful thing. Regardless of what's going on, I know that I control my actions. I know I control my thoughts. And I know that I'm blessed and highly sanctified by the Most High. You know what I mean? So,
hey,
I'm get to preaching, brother. I ain't you know what I mean? I start to get hot when they take the jacket off or something,
Hey, take your time.
yeah. But I'd be like, preach about to stand up, you know what I mean, at the stand-up desk, you know what I mean, so I could start, spitting some more. But yeah, but those are your drainers, man. You got to eliminate those drainers. You have your your maintainers, and those are the people, I would say, who keep you where you are. And I'm gonna pass it to you with this, man, too, because I think the biggest thing about maintainers is those are the people who are at the same level as you, right? And if they're not striving to do more, you need to get rid of those people as well too. Would you agree with that?
Man, dog, listen, you're an average of the 5 people you hang around most, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big believer of that, man. And your environment is what I'm saying? What does it go? It goes, what your network is your net worth. You know what I mean? And that's real, right? So if you wanna live a certain way and you're hanging around with, you want to be an eagle and you're hanging around a bunch of chickens, I mean, you're gonna be a chicken. You're gonna be on the ground. You got to hang with some eagles to be able to be an eagle. You know what I mean? And you got to learn how it is to be an eagle and what it takes to be an eagle. So you need to be around that. Put yourself in that environment. You can't put yourself around a bunch of chickens, because if that's the case, then you're just gonna end up clucking and looking at the ground every day.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, man.
Your environment. I mean, that's one thing I can say. I have 2 good mentors, and they're both way older than I am and have experienced way more than I have. And so they're both in the commercial side, and they're pulling me up. So it took me a while to understand that, like, hey, because I used to think I could do everything by myself and figure it out. But when you're looking to scale and when you're looking to be wealthy, you have to be able to connect with other folks that are doing what you want to do. And so sometimes that takes a lot of humility and saying, you know what, I need help and I need some assistance to be able to get me to this place. But I know if I stay consistent and persistent, it can be done no different than doing my first flip.
No, bro, 100%, man. And with that, I think what you're talking about there with the mentor piece, man, and those are your elevators, man. Those are the people who push you to be great, and we all need to be around those folks. So just like Kevin was saying, like if I want to be an eagle, you know what I mean? I gotta hang around eagles. You know what I mean? I can't hang around folks. You can't hang around chickens, man. And that's just something that I think is so. That's a solid comparison. It's just a really good comparison because you really are. It is an influence. Your environment and the folks you hang around, those you surround yourself with. It is such a big proponent or influence on your life that it is almost eerie when you think about growing up, man. Think about your closest friends when you was a kid. You know, I remember running around my boys when I was a kid, and that's not to say I love all my friends. You know what I mean, like brothers. But it's like, man, we all the same. Like we all have the same qualities. I was like, okay, like how many of us really want to go try to be the best versions of ourselves? You know what I mean? And if
Yep.
it's not the group or if it's not some folks in the group, you do not need to be around those people because at some point, man, like you have to grow up. You got to put your toys away, man. You got to become a man. You got to become a woman, and you have to take control of your life. Or you're gonna look up. You're gonna look up. You're gonna be 55 years old, you know, and unhappy. You know what I mean? And that's on you because of decisions that you failed to make. And that's not to say it's too late because it's never too late to to get started on your life, but you have to. It's better to make that change now because at the end of the day, we all know what we need to do, right? And I think one of the best, I guess, analogies that I've been given is like, I was talking to this one couple, they were financially free, and they said, we don't take, money advice from poor or broke people. Like just like I wouldn't get marriage advice from somebody who's been through 7 divorces. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
straight like that. If you want good advice, you go to people with fruit on the tree. You know what I mean? If I want
Yeah.
to go get some fruit, man, I'm finna go to the apple tree. I ain't finna go to, a thorn bush. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't make no sense. But yet we will surround ourselves with people who are thorns in our lives, who are poking holes in our dreams, who are poking us, inflicting pain on us, and we don't do anything about it. But be like, well, this is just going to be. It doesn't have to be that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right, man. Hey, you're exactly right, yo. And it comes down to being able to think hard. You know what I'm saying? We all work hard, right? Most of us black and brown folk, we know how to work hard, right? But we don't think hard. And that's the problem. We don't think enough. And so we get caught up in just the day to day and what everybody's doing, social media, all the distractions in life, but we don't think for ourselves and what we want and what our goals are and how we want to live and you know what I'm saying? The things that we need to do to most of us want nice things and want to live good, but we're not think hard enough to get there.
Yeah.
And that's a it's I know for me and my the environment that I came from, all you knew how to do was go to work and get a job. You know what I'm saying? No one was an entrepreneur. No one knew about cash flow. No one knew about leverage. All you knew was how to go get a job and work for someone and try to retire with some benefits. My mom, that's all she used to scream: get a job with benefits, get a job with benefits, right? So you can have some insurance and you know what I'm saying, and you can have those things paid for. You don't have to worry about it. And so like that stuck with me, and like I remember hearing that a lot, right? So all I knew was how to either go play ball and make some money overseas or something, go get a job and work for someone for 40 years or sell dope. That's the
Yeah.
only ways I knew, yo. And that's real. Like that's the only 3 ways I knew. And the only thing that I went really hard at was basketball.
Yeah.
So like that programming, I had to be able to remove those old files, install new ones, go all the way down to default to the default settings, right? Dump all that shit out and then install new stuff.
Yeah.
Money, wealth, leverage, cash flow. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things, how to increase my net worth, how to flip a house, how to build a house, how to increase the value in a commercial property. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things now I know that is getting me to my goal and my end goal and what I'm looking for when I'm 65 or when I'm ready to go on vacation for 30 days and retire or do whatever I want to do, right? Everything I'm doing is leading up to that.
Yeah.
So everyone I put myself around just like you said, man, they're either drainers, maintainers, or what was the other one you said?
Elevators.
Elevators. Oh, that's like perfect. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, if you're not helping elevate me, man, I say OQP, only quality people. You know, that's a Les Brown's, special right there. But, only quality people. And it's pretty much the same. But, if you're not quality, if you're not where I'm looking to go, or you're not uplifting me and we're not helping each other, then that relationship probably is not going to benefit me a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to put yourself around like-minded people. And like you said, some of your family be the worst ones. They be the worst discouragers and drainers. And I can say that because, where I'm from, everybody was mad all the time. And I didn't even know why. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, everybody's upset. It's either
Just mad to be mad.
Yeah, you're just mad to be mad, bro. And see, what comes with that is that it makes your life stagnant. You know what I'm saying? And you can't grow. And you're always the same person that you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can't get out of that negative hypnotic rhythm, yo. It's like real.
Yeah. And I think that's I think all the things you said there pretty much like sum it up, man. And I think that like the importance, really going back to again what you said about the mentors that hang around the folks, man, that is so important. So I encourage y'all, if y'all don't have any mentors or have nobody, that you kind of look up to, man, try to go find that person, go around the spaces that they hang around and try to at least be around them, get in that vicinity. Like, I think that I hear really successful people say this all the time, but it's like, if I were to take just, the average person and just start hanging out with the average person, they'd have no choice but to like feed off of my energy. Now they're going to feel like they can conquer the world because that's the energy that they put off. And that stuff is contagious, man. If you ever been around like the football team in the weight room or the basketball team in the weight room, man, everybody going hard, that stuff is contagious, man. You look to your left and your right, you see your brother going hard on the bench, trying to hit that new max, man. You get hyped up too, like you right there hitting it as well too. And that's contagious. Energy is contagious. So again, you got your three, you got your you got your drainers, you got your maintainers, and you got your elevators, right? So yeah.
And like energy is positive, is also negative, yo.
Yep. Misery
loves company. You know what I mean? Misery loves company, bro. So like the negative, and hey, it's hard, man. And you may have to cut off a family member or a cousin or a close friend. You know what I'm saying? But if it's draining your energy, you have to be able to disconnect from it if you want to be able to be the best version of yourself. Hands down.
Yeah, and that wraps up pretty much number 2, man. And I guess really for number 3 is, control over your time. You have to take control over your time. Time is the most valuable asset that you have, right? And I think it's priceless. You know what I mean? Because that's something you can't get back. And it's extremely important. The time that you have and what you do with your time is very, very important. And regardless of people look at it as a scary thing. Some people look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as, a blessing, because tomorrow you could be gone just like that. Snap of the finger. You know what I mean? You could be gone and no longer here. And the questions that that's, again, I talk about all the time. And my biggest fear is that I pass and I get to the end of my life, or I'm past and I'm over there in my deathbed and I'm surrounded by the ghost of all my dreams looking in at me and being like, you had the power to bring us to life, but you didn't. You know what I mean? At the end of my life, and God shows me the version of myself that I could have been had I acted on my dreams. That is a fear for me. I want to get to the end of my life, right? Meet that version of myself that I could have been. And we're best friends. I knew exactly who that person is. We're very familiar with each other because I am. That's what I was. You know what I mean? That's how I live my life. But it's really tying it back into the timepiece. It's important, and how you spend your time truly matters. We all have our struggles, and I think, one of the biggest things that I struggled with, and even sometimes, and I'm not even on my phone a crazy amount, but it's like, bro, sometimes the doom scroll, man. Like, I'll get into Facebook, I'll watch like one reel, and it could be something I thought was educational. Like, I'll watch like a video on like a quick real estate tip. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Then I scroll next, and it's like some cat video or something funny, bro. And I'm like, oh, let me go to the next video. And I'm seeing, I was like, oh, LeBron James did this. Let me see what happened. You know what I mean? Before you know it, like I'm in the doom scroll. You know what I'm saying?
That's it, man. So yeah, you see what I'm doing right here, man. Wait, give yourself about 5-6 more years, man.
Yeah.
Just wait. But nah, can you see? Can I finish the call? Say
Hello.
Hey, everyone. Say hey.
Terry one. Okay. Hi, yep. Terry one.
Hey to everyone. Can you get off me?
Get close enough.
Bye.
All right. You going to bed now?
No.
Or you gonna wait on me?
I'm gonna wait on you.
All right. But yeah, man. I mean, it's all about the time, right? Being able to have and enjoy that time.
I'm gonna get you.
Go. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, that's what you want time for that right there, right? Want to be able to create that time, and that's why you have to learn the two biggest forms of leverage. And again, we as Black and brown folk, we didn't learn about this, right? You got to leverage other people's money, and you got to learn to leverage other people's time, right? You got to be able to leverage those pieces to be able to give you the freedom and the time that you want to enjoy your life, because life is about a bunch of experiences and making the best experience for your own life. And most of us want to live good, right? We want to live good and we want nice things, and we hate to be able to have to work till we're 90. So it's like being able to understand that leverage and leveraging other people's money, leveraging other people's time equals freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's almost like when people buy a business. You buy a business, you buy their employees, you buy their name. Not only are you leveraging, maybe someone else's money to buy that business, but you're leveraging those employees' time that they're at that job, right? So that way you don't have to be there. And see, that's what we never learned, right? So you think about job, we talked about, being on that job 40 hours a week and you hate it. And, it's the worst. You're making someone else rich, one, and then two, you're paying the most taxes.
Straight up.
So you have to be able to think and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, this job is helping me make a living, but how do I want to live at the end of the game? At the end of what's the goal? You know what I mean? And so many of us is driving on autopilot. We never think about those things. We don't waste time. We're so busy thinking about our day to day and how we can get that next job to increase our income.
Yeah,
your working income is never going to make you wealthy.
Yeah.
It's never going to make you wealthy. It's never, because you're getting taxed almost 40% and higher as you get paid more. So it's like, you have to be able to think your way through that and understand that, hey, this is a system that we're in.
Yeah. No, 100%, man.
Only way you're going to get that is leveraging other people's money and other people's time.
Yeah. Yeah. What it comes down to, man, is average people, they waste time. Successful people, they invest time, right? They invest their time into things that matter. Average people, they spend time all day, trying to keep up with the Joneses, seeing what so-and-so down the street is doing, or like, oh, so-and-so got a new chain, so now I got to get a new chain. Or, my neighbor down the street, they got the new Kia, the new Nissan Altima. I got to get me the newest car. We're competing with each other as opposed to trying to just elevate and become great, just wasting time doing thankless tasks that don't help or improve you in the long run, as opposed to investing your time. And that doesn't mean just financially, right? That means investing into the books you're reading, the people you surround yourself with, as opposed to, spending that money on that vacation or going out on the weekend. Save that money up and maybe you go to a conference, you know what I mean? A mastermind event, you know what I mean? And learn and take something there, meet new people, network with people who want to grow as well too, or are already there, and grow yourself. And I think that too, we waste time doing a lot of different things. And I think at some point, like, especially now with, I think, me becoming a father, and I know you could attest to this because I ain't saying you old, but I mean, you do got kids, you know what I mean?
One.
But we all have a responsibility to the things that we commit to. And a lot of times we make excuses for ourselves on why we can't, achieve those goals or fulfill that responsibility. One of the best quotes that I've heard of all time, and this is something that has been sticking with me, I've heard a couple of weeks ago, is from Bedros Keuilian. He said that a circumstance does not change responsibility. And that is pretty much the answer to a lot of different things, right? Because look, at the end of the day, anything can happen. Life happens 100%, right? And I'm not saying that, if something crazy happens, you can't do something. But at the end of the day, circumstance does not change responsibility. So if you committed to doing X, Y, Z, right? Say I'm gonna work out twice a day. all right, if you hit one workout, it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the day. You got to hit that second workout because that's what you said, you were going to do. That's a responsibility that you set for yourself. So it don't matter, if your son gets sick, if your daughter gets sick, if you late for work or you got to stay late for work, you owe it to yourself to fulfill that responsibility, because whatever happened, that circumstance doesn't change that responsibility. You as a dad, straight up, Kev, is like, you got to put food on the table. If you lose your job tomorrow, you can't just go sit at home, woe was me, and be like, all right, I got to wait for somebody else to fill it. Your responsibility is to get it. Doesn't matter what the circumstance is. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's it, man. I mean, that's what it's about. Being able to, control your outlook, right? I mean, that's what this recording was about tonight. It's about the control and being able to take control of your life and understanding the things you want, right? I mean, we all want things, but how do you supposed to get there? So if you want that time, I mean, you got to educate yourself, right?
Yeah.
With education, you got to surround yourself with the right people. And then third, I mean, you're just taking control over your time. Being able to time it out and maybe block out some things that you got to, right? I mean, I know that's one thing that I had problems with, was being able to block my time on my calendar.
Right.
Using my calendar, right? That's a major thing. Understand, people out there, like, using your calendar is a major asset to have.
It's crazy.
About time and being able to say, hey, during this time I'm doing this right here. During this time I'm doing that. I never understood how powerful that was until I started doing it.
Yeah. And a good challenge with that, bro, is it's a challenge I heard a few years back, but it's a time audit. What you do is you have 24 hours in a day. You sleep probably anywhere from like 5 to 8 of those hours. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. From when you get up in the morning, set your timer for an hour, right? And at the end of that hour, write down exactly what you were doing when that timer went off. And what you'll find is a lot of the time that you think you were doing something, or everybody said they got a busy day, what you'll find is a lot of the time you've been BSing, right? I did it before. I was like, all right, I thought I was busy. Set my timer, an hour later, goes off. Oh, snap, I was on Instagram. Hour later goes by, I was like, oh, snap, I was scrolling on my phone doing something else. Hour later, oh, snap, I was chilling with everybody in the conference room when we were talking. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now I'm working, or now I'm doing this. It's like There's all this different time that we're just wasting and we're not even aware of. So that time audit it's a good challenge, man. It's a solid challenge. Have you ever done anything like that before?
Yeah, man. That's how I got familiar with my calendar. I mean, you got to be able to check that. You know what I mean? And believe me, I wasn't even using a calendar.
Yeah.
Wasn't using. I wasn't blocking out my time at times. You know what I'm saying? It was just me going off the cuff, and
Bro, the worst. I remember I tried to go off memory, bro. I started missing everything, bro. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember that. I remember that. Man, I can't fit all that in my mind.
No, you don't even want to have to remember that, especially when and you got your phone to be able to do everything for you now. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would I waste that brain power?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I say, bro, like, I think pretty much, man, like that about sums it up, man. The three controls of success, man, are really the education you choose, the people you surround yourself, the people you have advising you, and then really comes down to how you manage your time. So I'd say take control of these three things, and you pretty much will change your life.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, it's what a lot of successful people that I know do. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep going that route.
Yeah, 100%. But hey, outside of that, that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man, just for people to take control over it. I mean, we're in 2025, and the world is changing drastically. So, like, at the end of the day, man, it's time for you to take control of your life. Hey, education that you have, people you hang around with, and your time, man, and just understand that you can get to wherever you need to be. You just got to put in that effort, man, and do that extra. Do a little bit of extra. That's it.
100%, bro. Hey, hope y'all enjoyed this one. This was Assets Over Money podcast, episode 11. See y'all next time. Peace.
Later.